Hey guys, welcome back. Today on The Untidy Artist, I'll be showing you how to make these gorgeous lace embroidery hoops. They can be used as wall hangings. They're incredibly easy to make. I'm really excited to show you just how easy they are to put together. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and let's grab some supplies and get started. The first thing you're going to need is some embroidery hoops. Now, embroidery hoops come in a variety of sizes. You can get them at your local craft store. I am pretty sure the dollar store carries them. They're relatively easy to find. I'll put some links below of where you can purchase them on Amazon. And my favorite size to use is this little tiny 3-inch. For this tutorial, I'll be using a 3, a 4, and a 5-inch hoop. Now I'm going to paint mine with some metallic paint. This is just acrylic craft paint. It's totally optional if you don't want to paint yours. I'll show you what some look like without painting the hoops. Then you're going to need some fabric. Now I went to my local JOANN's and bought some fabric and got home and realized I could buy a ton more on Amazon for a lot cheaper. So this piece of fabric right here, I purchased on Amazon. It was less than $20 and I got 2 yards of it. What you're looking for is a mesh type fabric that has different embroidered designs on it. The one on the left here, this is the one I got from JOANN's. And you can see it's a little bit thicker material and the embroidery is a little bit tighter. And then the one on the right is from Amazon. And I actually like it better. The embroidery isn't quite as tight, so it kind of gives it a different feel. But I like that it was sheer and that you could see through it. And so this is the one I ended up liking the most, and it was the one that was the least expensive. There were also some others I picked up from JOANN's. This peach and pink and cream floral design that's just so pretty. And then this cute pink and blue. And I think this would be so darling in a nursery or a little girl's room. There really are a lot of great options out there. You'll need some clear craft glue. I'm using this Gorilla Glue, but just a basic clear tacky craft glue will work perfectly. You'll need a sharp pair of scissors, and with that said, let's get started. So the first thing to do is separate your ring. And I am going to grab a piece of parchment paper and my paint, and I'm going to squirt some directly onto the parchment paper, and I'm going to paint my hoops. You want a nice even layer. I like using the foam brush because I feel like it's faster to paint the hoops, but you could obviously use a paintbrush. And so just make sure that you're covering all of the area of the hoop. And then you want to pull the hoop apart at the top, and you'll see a little space right at the top. You want to make sure that you get that painted also, because you will see that when it's hanging on the wall. So once it has a nice even layer, I let that completely dry, and then I add one more layer of the paint. So this has 2 coats on both of the hoops, and you can see I did that with all 3 of the embroidery hoops that I will be using for this tutorial. Then you're going to grab your fabric, and this is probably the hardest part, and decide what you want to frame with your embroidery hoops. So I just start putting them over different flowers and deciding exactly what 3 sections of the fabric that I want to frame for my wall hanging. Now this is actually going in my daughter's bathroom, and she has this cute shower curtain that has little red and pink flowers in it. I thought this was just darling and would look really cute in her bathroom. Another tip is to try and pick designs that are closer to the edge of the fabric, so you're not cutting right in the center of the fabric. That way you'll be able to get more use out of your fabric. So once you've decided what you're going to frame with your hoop, you're going to cut it out, leaving a 1 to 2 inch allowance around the outside of the hoop. Now I did a terrible job with this. So you can see it's not centered, which makes it a lot harder. You'll see why in a second. So make sure that your design is centered and that you're giving yourself a 2 inch allowance around the hoop. So once you've got it framed exactly how you want it, and I will kind of put it in and then hold it up and look at it, and I keep doing that until I have it in the position I want it. And then you're going to start tightening the hoop, and pulling on the fabric. So you want to pull the fabric so it's nice and tight. Now you can see I'm using my left hand to steady the hoop. If you pull too hard and you don't steady the hoop will pull apart and then you have to start all over again. So make sure that you're kind of holding the hoop with one hand and then gently tugging with the other hand. And you keep tightening and tugging, and then I actually grabbed my sad looking pliers and tightened it up some more, and this is what we've got. Then you're going to flip it upside down and you're going to take your tacky glue and you're going to give it a nice even layer around the back side of your hoop. This will help us make sure that that fabric doesn't come out of the hoop. So I kind of use the tip of the glue to push that into place, and then I make sure I pull the fabric towards the inside of the hoop. We don't want it sticking on the outside, and you don't want any glue dripping down the edges. So I'll pull it towards the center of the hoop, and then we're going to set it aside and move on to our next hoop. So once again, I position the hoop right in the center of the design I want to frame, and I kind of hold it up and see if I like the way that it looks. It can make a big difference which way you put the top of the hoop, so keep that in mind. And then I'm going to tighten and tug on the fabric to make sure that it's nice and tight in that embroidery hoop. So just gently pulling, holding down that hoop so it doesn't come apart while you're tugging. And then I also used my pliers to make sure it was nice and tight. With these smaller hoops, it's easier to use the pliers as you're tightening the hoop at the very end. And then I'm going to take my glue, give it a nice even layer, and push that excess fabric towards the center and make sure I don't have any glue dripping down the outside of the hoop or the inside of the hoop. And I do the exact same thing with the last one. Okay, now once they're completely dry, and it can take a few hours, you're going to grab your scissors. I would recommend using small scissors because it's easier to get really close to the edges of the embroidery hoop. Another thing to keep in mind is to make sure that that very center part of the fabric is glued down. So you might need to add a little bit more glue there, or even use a glue gun to just push that down a little bit so that that fabric isn't popping up. And we have our first hoop. And then I'm going to go back and just trim a little bit more. You can see these small scissors make it a lot easier to get in there and get those little tiny pieces of the fabric so it looks pretty on the front of the hoop and the back. And we're done with our first hoop. And I just think this turned out so unbelievably cute. So I do that with all of my hoops, and this is what we ended up with. This is 3, the 4, and the 5-inch hoop. I thought it was so pretty, I ended up doing 2 more. This, I believe, is a 10-inch hoop. I will put below in the description of the video exactly what size it is. Once again, just picking out a different part of that fabric. I really liked just doing the greenery as well. I think that this one's just so pretty. And then obviously, if I wanted to, I could do a bigger wall hanging, and you can put them together in different ways. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing this that I didn't do is make sure that the screws at the top of the hoop are all facing the same direction. This is probably going to drive me crazy, so I was very careful about the next hoops I did. Then I took this peach and pink and cream fabric, and I just wanted to show you guys just how many different ways you can use this method. So I didn't paint the hoops on this. I think this turned out so cute. You can see all of my screws at the top are on the same side. Yay me. And another fun thing I think that you could do is so these are the little tiny 3-inch hoops that are my favorite, and I got 10 of them, and I picked out 10 of the little flowers on this fabric and framed them. You guys, I think this would be the cutest gift at a bridal shower or a baby shower. You could even put these at place settings for Easter. These little 3-inch hoops were about $1.50 each. Obviously, the most expensive part of this project is your fabric. I just think these would be so cute to give as a favor at any kind of shower or party. Let me know in the comments below different ways that you guys would use them. Also, I've got this really pretty pink and blue, and I used a bigger hoop on this. Once again, I think this would be darling in a little baby's room. I also think these would make a beautiful handmade gift for Mother's Day. And that's it, guys. We're all set. What do you think? I'd love to know in the comments below. These came together so fast and so easy, and I think that they just look so beautiful. It looks like you spent a lot longer on it than you actually did. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to know which your favorite design is in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please do. That would be amazing. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to be the first to know when I come out with new tutorials, be sure to click on that bell icon. I love hearing from you. Please know how much I appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.